Welcome back to the Trail to Mushy, the Cowboy Cook. Today we're going to be talking about the lamp. I've always called it a barn lamp. There's probably several different names out there. But anyhow, I like them. I use them obviously. I've got a number of them. We're going to go through some of them and talk about buying, repairing, taking them apart, what to look for. But before we get into the video, in a couple weeks we're going to be in Goldston, North Carolina, and that's October 8th, which is a Saturday only. It's for the 35th annual Goldston Old Fashioned Day. We've been there a couple of times, have a good time. It's a little small town in between Greensboro, North Carolina and Sanford, North Carolina, right off of Highway 421. It's probably 20 minutes north of Sanford, maybe just a little over 45 minutes or so south of Greensboro. Real easy to get to, just right off 421, and it's right on Main Street. Come out, say hey. We're only going to be there, like I said, for the day. We'll get there probably 9 o'clock, wrap up 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Come on out, and in the meantime, let's get into the video. Now, as of this recording, there is a storm coming up the west coast of Florida and should be hitting the southeast and coming up right over my area of the country. So these things come in handy when the power goes out. You typically can pick them up at antique flea malls. Relatively inexpensive. A couple things to look for is, first of all, the cap, the filler cap. I go to Antique Lamp Supply. They're not sponsoring the video or anything, but I pick up parts from there. And they say on their website the fill cap may not fit the old ones. Now, if I come across a lamp, I first try and take the cap off. If it doesn't come off, I move on. So if that works, it's the first thing. Then what I will do is look to see if I can even move the wick on it. Now, here's 2 old wicks that are broken. This one is just free spinning, won't even do anything. And this one won't either. In fact, it won't even hardly turn. About need a wrench to turn it. So these are no good, but you can buy replacement parts. And then the globe, you typically can get replacement parts. Just measure what you've got, and then when you go to a website, look at the measurements on it. And then of course you can buy wicks for it. They come in a couple different widths, and so that's real easy. I don't use kerosene. I use a citronella lamp oil, and that does fine for me. Now, one thing to take these apart, first let's talk about brands. The main brand out there has been around forever, and they're still making them. The company is overseas now, but it's called Dietz. And you've got a number of different sizes. Most of these are Dietz. This one is a beacon. And this was made in America back then. Dietz, they were located up in New York, and a lot of them will say Dietz NY USA. I like this one's number 2 Delight. This one is a number 2 Delight. My red one over here, that's a number 2. Well, they're all number 2. I guess this particular size is number 2. I know they've got a number 90 and several other sizes you can get, but they still make them. You can buy them brand new, and you can even get them unfinished, I guess, so you can let it rust a little bit, give it a little bit of age. But they've got a number of different colors you can pick from. Most of them were anywhere from $40 to $80, depending on the size and whatnot. So you can still find them new, but look in the old antique flea malls and see what you can find. All right, now this one has a red globe, but it needs cleaning. So let's talk about taking it apart. What you do is you pull up on the top, you lean it back, and the globe comes right out. All you need is a little bit of soapy water. This one you can barely even see the red. In fact, we just came from Benson Mule Days, where we ended up cooking dinner for some cowboys that were in the rodeo. We served them at, it was like 10:30, quarter to 11 that night on Friday night. Because that was when the rodeo finished and they got everything broken down from the rodeo and the horses and whatnot taken care of. And that was when they were ready to eat. And they had a good meal. We fixed chicken fried steak. We had potatoes and green beans, and then we made a peach cobbler cake. All delicious. So all you have to do is take it, rinse it off a little bit. Good to go. All right, let me put this away. I'm going to dry it off just a hair. And then all you do is slip the globe back in, pull up the centerpiece, put it back down. All right, now when you are looking at them, pull the cap off, look in the bottom, and see if it has any holes in it. If they're very big holes, I would pass on it. However, it may leak. So when you get it home, pour a little bit of the citronella oil in it, and if it leaks, pour it back out. And what I have done, I have bought a motorcycle gas tank sealer. Looks like basically a real thick metallic paint. And what you do, you pull the wick out. Now I'll show you that here in just a second. Pour the sealer in there, swish it around. You need a light thin coat, and you just need a light thin coat, and then let that dry for 3 or 4 days, and then pour the oil back in, see if it leaks. Again, if it does, pour it out, let that dry real good, and then try to dry another coat. Personally, I recommend doing 2 coats instead of 1. You're better off just trying to, before you even attempt to put any oil in it. So put 2 thin coats in it, and then but let it dry 3 or 4 days in between coats, and then try to put some oil in it and see if it leaks or not. If it doesn't leak, then you're good to go. What you want to do is take your wick, put it down inside. Takes just a little bit of maneuvering. And then the deets, you'll see a little tab on either side, and then a place where the tabs will slide right into to hold in the wick mechanism. and then pop your globe in. Now you're ready to fill. Recommend you getting a little funnel and pour some of the oil in it. Now it's not going to light up immediately. You're going to need to let it sit 10-15 minutes for the wick to wick up the oil and for you to light it. Put the cap back on. And then I'll show you. Real easy to light them. All you do is, there's a lever here, pull down on it, and usually there's a little notch so you can hold it open. Adjust your wick a little bit. Pull the globe back down, and then you can adjust your flame. Now if you start getting smoke coming out of the top, you've got a little too much flame going on. But they are really easy to light. So in an emergency, it's a nice backup lighting. Now this right here is a railroad lantern. You'll find them sometimes with a railroad name on it. Typically they're a little more expensive. I've got two of them, one back here and this one. I was doing a little research on them and found out that a lot of these tanks, they actually put cotton in there to soak up the oil or the kerosene, and I guess so that it wouldn't slosh around and spill out. This one right here had cotton in it, the other one didn't. They're a little different to light. You just pull the top off. But other than that, pretty much works the same. Now, like this one here, this right here kind of got stuck in trying to lower it. Just kind of push on it and it'll push right back down. As you see the globe, that one needs a little cleaning. I will turn this, blow this out, let it cool down, and then I'll clean the globe, get it nice and cleaned up. Now hopefully I've had it left enough time for this to light up, for all the for the wick to wick up the oil. There we go. Like I said, it just takes a few minutes for that wick to wick up the oil so that you can light it. So there you have it. I actually have a couple more lanterns that I'm working on. I've got one that's I've got to put another coat in the inside, another coat of the tank sealer, and then I've got another one I haven't even started on that I'm going to put 2 coats of the tank sealer in. So that overall will take almost 2 weeks to do. But look out at the stores, see what you can find. Like I said, these come in handy on the wagon. And the other night when we were cooking, and like I said, we served at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Between me and Mosey, I think we had 6 or 7 out there lit up, hanging around on the wagon and on a table and some other places around, so that we could see what we were doing and cook up that fine meal for those cowboys. Now, I hope you learned something from that video about the lanterns. As you can see, I really like them. Good for emergency use, good for out camping out in the backyard, and of course on the cattle trails. Remember, October 8th, Goldston, North Carolina. It's right off of 421 south of Greensboro, between Greensboro and Sanford, North Carolina. 35th annual Goldston Old Fashioned Day. Come out and see us. It's a lot to do out there. There'll be some tractors, some vendors out there, food vendors, a lot of local people out there selling some things, and also entertainment. If you like videos like this, please hit the subscribe button, share it, like it, ring the bell, and Mushy the Cowboy Cook. We'll see you down the trail.